Welcome to another podcast. I'm delighted to have with me today as my special guest, Kate Waring. Kate describes herself as someone who has gathered many labels in this lifetime: a daughter, a sister, chalet girl, writer, CAD technician. I must admit I didn't know what CAD meant until I looked it up, which means computer assisted designer, meditator, coach, hypnotherapist, and much more. She tells me that she's now in the fun and messy, slightly messy process of peeling all those labels off to discover who she really is without the labels. And the one that refuses to go away, to peel cleanly, is the role of mother. And she says that that role sometimes undoes her, teaches her, but also keeps her beautifully human. What a wonderful way to describe oneself, absolutely. Just to add briefly for further clarity that those of you who saw my previous podcast will know that I introduced Kate there indirectly as the source of the example I gave about the new consciousness of children incarnating currently onto the planet and those already in incarnation. And the other thing about Kate which really brought my attention was her statement that she has been practicing the law of one on her daughter, or in her role as a parent, as a mother, which I thought, wow, that's great. I must hear more about that, and I'm sure you'd like to hear about it as well. So thanks very much for joining me, Kate. This is fabulous. I really appreciate the opportunity to hear from you. Before we start, maybe I could just say a little bit about the law of one, in case some of you watching this are not familiar with the law of one. It's actually a series of channeled teachings, a series of books written in the early 1980s. I highly recommend them if you haven't come across them. And the sort of ethos of the books, I mean, they are all embracing, and I'm sure Kate will add to that from her own perspective. But just to give you a bit of an overview, this is a quote from the Law of One, which I think pretty much sums it all up. It says, "We are all one. This is the great learning and teaching. In unity lies love and light. The fundamental teaching of all planes of existence is unity, love, light, and joy." So that really resonates with me, and I hope it does with you too. So enough of me. Let's hear from Kate. So Kate, first of all, how did you come to the law of one, and how has that evolved in terms of your becoming a mother and where you are now?
Well, I was introduced to it about 5.5 years ago, whilst I was living in Cluny, the Fintorn Foundation house. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of dropped into my life really beautifully by an amazing friend there. And she just sort of said, just read this. And then I looked at it and I'm like, oh my God, this is dense. really, pretty hard going. So she said, have a look at Aaron Abke. He will explain it all for you. So I went onto YouTube, and Aaron Abke is incredible. He has all these brilliant videos kind of like explaining all the main principles of the law of one.
Right.
So yeah, that's how it was introduced. And then my friend who had sort of given me the books in the first place, I only realise it now, she was gently guiding me towards it in a really slow, brilliant way, because I don't pick things up quickly. It's another label, isn't it?
Yes.
God, okay, I wonder where I got that.
Okay, well, we can discard that one. Yeah, off you go.
Yeah, but she brought it to me in a way that I wasn't aware of until quite recently. Like, we started meditating on who am I, and just things like that. And so I began really, really slowly with the law of one, like glacial, like a couple of years of just asking who am I, and I still ask that question every day now. But I just really appreciate it. It was brought to me in a very loving way, in a and when we were doing these who am I meditations, at first I was like, oh right, I think I've got it, I think I know who I am now, and I go and explain it to her, and she, God love it, the patience of the woman, she just, yeah, okay, yeah, you're not, and then finally, you know, a penny drops, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not that. I'm not any of that. I'm something, you know, I am everything, and you are me, and I am you, and but she didn't judge me. She just was so loving, like, you know, just creation just shining through her, and I didn't really appreciate it fully at the time in the way that I do now. So I am eternally grateful to her for introducing me.
Wow, beautiful. Now, Kate has written a series of wonderful Substack articles, which I highly recommend, and I'll put a link to the Substack at the end of this video, so that you'll be able to have a look and read Kate's wonderful articles. They are really tremendous, beautiful writing, and very creative as well. But tell me this, Kate, when you were pregnant with Abby, your daughter, right? Was there a conscious thing about applying the law of one, and how did that develop?
No, not conscious. I was practicing it with the sort of, you know, the Who Am I meditations, and sort of reading the book and just gently easing myself into it. But being pregnant with her was a very just incredible experience, flipping awful as well. It's no joke being pregnant, it really isn't. So I found it quite hard work, but I was able to tune into her throughout the pregnancy, and just really, I mean, it is sort of like, it feels like real ultimate oneness to be pregnant, to have another human being, you know, like getting your head around that we are all one is not the easiest thing in the world, is it? But being pregnant, I think, gives you possibly one of the best opportunities to experience oneness in 3D, where we are clearly separate, but we're one. Yeah,
or we perceive to be separate.
We perceive to be separate, and so we did this meditation in the sanctuary because I wanted to sort of figure out where would be the best place for her to be born. And it came very clearly to me and to Rudolph, my partner. She said, you'll be fine wherever you are. And she was helping me to learn to trust, because it was actually an emergency C-section that I had to have in the end. Yes. I was like, oh, water birth, home, blah, blah, blah. No.
You were contemplating something else.
Yeah, none of that. And I was not prepared at all for a C-section, but she held my hand, so she was always there, and she was such a mothering presence. And it's just in reflection, like over the last few years, that she was helping me really slowly get my head around the oneness of everything, and that I can go inside, like literally inside, you know, and ask a question, and the answer comes from within. So it was all tiny little steps towards oneness all the time. Again, with me just being a little bit of a passenger in a way to it. But I recognised that I needed these sort of gentle steps to really ease into it. And I didn't start with, I'm going to, you know, apply law of one principles to mothering at all. But it was brought to me by her and having that experience.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. She mothered me the whole pregnancy. She really did. I had such a strong feeling of being taken care of.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Now, how do you practice the law of one with a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think,
Well, she's about to be 5.
To be 5, okay. So, and by what I mean by that, maybe you can give us one or two examples of
Yeah.
success and not quite success,
Yeah.
if I can put it that way. I mean, just to give people an idea of how, I mean, you obviously believe that it's possible,
Yeah.
and it has worked.
Yeah.
I mean, the example you gave that I mentioned in the previous podcast is probably a good example,
Yeah.
maybe on a different level. But give us a couple of
Okay.
examples if you can.
So I guess I started consciously trying to do Law of One practice with her in this past year, and I mean, I'm still trying to get my head around, you know, how we're all one, but watching through the Aaron Abke videos, he explains it, you know, in this 3D realm, that we're all connected to everything. So I was using that as a practice. I'm like, oh, I'm sitting on the sofa, so I'm connected to the sofa. The sofa's on the floor, blah, 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 you know. And I actually started drawing this. I bought a sketchbook, and I started drawing these things for me to get my head around. And then I started talking to her about it, and I said, you know, Abby, you know, we're all one. And she's like, no, I'm not, I'm 4. Okay, and she still does that, so I have to try and find a different way of saying we are all one.
Yeah.
But we had this moment. She was on her bike, and she's really into cars, right? And she said, Mama, is there petrol in my tyres? And I said, oh no, there's not petrol, but your feet are on the pedals, you're pushing the pedals round, and that is moving your bike forwards. So you are working with your bike, you're connected to your bike, and your bike can only move forward because you are pedaling the pedals, you're connected to it. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I get it. And we'd go on walks, and I would say, oh, look, we're connected to the floor, and all those leaves on the floor, and they're connected to that tree over there. And we would just, you know, anywhere, we would just do this all the time. And she really got into it, and she go, oh, Mama, I'm connected to blah, 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 you know, and we'd just have these little circles, and that was it. And I stopped saying, you know, we're all one, because every time she's like, no, I'm not, I'm 4. Come on, Mum. So that was like the first practice, and then she got into this thing of, if she was touching something, she would say, I'm not connected to it. So then I would try and correct her, and she just wasn't having it at all. And she said, oh no, I'm connected to that because I'm not touching it. So I just thought, just
let it be.
And I let it be, and she kind of just eventually came round to, I'm touching it, and you know, she does her thing. Right. I do my thing, but she does it spontaneously now. She's like, oh, Mama, I'm connected to this, and I'm connected to that. And I had this amazing, I'm so proud. I wrote this article called Who Am I? And I put it into the Rainbow Bridge, and we were out one day, and a lovely lady came over and said, oh, I read your article, thank you, it really helped me. So we started talking about who am I, and Abby's like milling around somewhere, and she comes over and she goes, I know who you are, Mama. And I said, oh, who am I, Abby? And she just pointed at me. She pointed at herself. And I just went, oh God.
Wow. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, but she already knows, and this is the thing I keep coming back to, she knows this stuff already. It's in there. And I had this like grand notion I could teach her the Law of One, but no, she's taught me far more, I think, than, you know, it's the knowledge is in there with her, the understanding, the non-intellectualized idea of oneness is already within her. And me kind of coming along and going, oh, well, I can create all these great things, you know, these great exercises or whatever. No, it's in there. And it's become more about me unlearning all of my separateness. She's still connected, so it kind of moved to me taking her lead more than me thinking that I could lead her in this journey. But yeah, we are physically connected to the sofa, to the floor is kind of the main practice, really.
And do you also speak to her about the sort of the 3D element, which is separation, obviously, so that she has this sort of, I don't know, maybe I'm not expressing it well, but there's more of a balance of it. So she's living in 3D, we all are, to some extent, you know, I mean, various degrees. And is that important to keep her balanced or grounded?
I am very aware of balancing all the time, and Rudolph is as well. And we are, honestly, we have a law of one conversation every day in our house.
Fabulous.
And she's always there.
You'll have to invite me round.
Yeah, you must come round. Yeah, come round for dinner. It's sometimes a bit chaotic, but yeah, I'm understanding it as balance. We are in these 3D bodies, having to, in order to have these incredible experiences, to come back to oneness, to choose the path of service to others and to love. And so we talk about this in front of her all the time, and everything soaks in. Absolutely everything.
That's beautiful.
And I understand that from being a hypnotherapist. You know, at least the first 7 years are, you know, critical, but beyond, you know, we're always taking everything in. So we have this thing about, she doesn't like what she calls bad boys. Don't like bad boys, mama. She's quite introverted, and she doesn't like a lot of noise around her, and at her nursery there's always going to be naughty boys, of course, you know, who are, and she gets very upset if one of them just literally brushes past her. She's quite she's going to be hard work when she's older. Don't say that. Don't say that. No. So I try and talk to her about the reasons why they might be being naughty and doing stuff. And just keeping it as simple as that, you know, like maybe they're doing it because they're upset, and how could you find common ground with them? And I'm hoping that this is kind of like the way to talk about separation in this realm. And we have this story, this ongoing, she loves Paw Patrol, right? So, and every night she wants a Paw Patrol story, an original Paw Patrol story that I have to make up.
Very good.
Every night. And there is a baddie in this story called the Water Monster.
Oh, okay.
Who comes and, because she always plays a Paw Patrol character called Rocky who doesn't like water. So the Water Monster comes and splashes water on Rocky, and she's like, ah. And I said to her, can you think of a way that you and the Water Monster could be friends? Can you find common ground? And we came to the idea of ice skating. So there could be water involved, but Rocky wouldn't be scared of the water, and the Water Monster could skate together. And she's come up with,
that's beautiful.
They go ice skating together. And then we were driving to nursery the other morning, and she said, there's a new bad boy started, Mama. And I said, I wonder, you know, can you find a way to find something that you both like doing? And she just went, ice skating?
Excellent.
So that's kind of one of the ways of how to, you know, live in this realm that I'm helping her with. But the other side of it is, I had a human design chart done several times when she was little, when she was first born. And one thing I was told that absolutely crucial for her is to learn to love herself. And my first thought was, how do I teach that? Then I went, I have to love myself.
Exactly, yes.
And at the bedrock of it all, as long as I know if she loves herself, she can deal with all of the separate, or the, you know, perceived separation.
Absolutely.
And that is my one thing, that is my job, that is my role, and I don't feel like anyone else can really impart that, and I have to love myself, and that is the way that I will show it to her. Then she will be able to deal with the separation. But
and pretty much everything else.
And pretty much, I don't think there's nothing you can't deal with if you love yourself.
Yeah, I sometimes say to people, you know, self-love is one of the most important things, and if you love yourself, if we all loved ourselves, the world would change overnight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
Because there'd be no, well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But let me ask you something you mentioned earlier. You said about talking about the law of one at home, right? And you mentioned service. And one of the key pieces for me in the law of one is the difference between service to others and service to self, okay? And how that relates to the ascension process. Are you able to teach? Do you teach? How does that work? Can you teach Abby the difference between service to others and service to self, from your own perspective, or from?
My understanding of service to others is evolving, and I was very much at the start. Oh, you have to kind of do everything you can for other people, but it's becoming more to you have to. You have to love yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is possibly
and set boundaries.
And set boundaries, and that is, I think that is service to others, because if you're good, then the whole world is good. And I had my hypnotherapy teacher used to say something to me which I never really got at the time. She said, if you help one person, you help the whole world.
That's from the law of one. It says, if, you know, it's something I've always preached, but people say, oh, you know, no one's watching your videos. I say, if just one person gets it, that's because that's oneness, right?
Totally.
Absolutely. And the law of one says it, you need only reach one person.
Yeah.
You know, before they published any of the books, and that was quite extraordinary. Anyway, sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, it's okay. So for me to get, if I get my head around it, she is getting her head around it, because she is me.
Yeah.
So, you do the kind of usual things. You just be nice to people. If you say please and thank you. Just really, it's the basics.
Yeah.
Just be excellent to one another, as Bill and Ted would say. Just be kind. And I think that's my approach. At the moment. It may evolve.
Maybe is it too early? I wonder. But is it something that you can actually share with Abby, that there are people who are service to self, and they are, okay, I could say different. I mean, it's their chosen path.
Yeah, to get my head around it. I am learning to. It's the mirror effect, isn't it? So if I see someone who is doing something that I don't like, I am then going to search. Well, what am I doing? Am I acting in the same way? Kind of.
What
thing.
is that about me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I've sort of tried to. I'm still getting my head around it, I guess. So it's a bit difficult to explain it to her. I think demonstration is probably the best way, and just talking about it. Because when I set out, I started an Instagram account first. I thought I'm doing like little exercises of the law of one, and I got to the point of they're trying to dumb it down. I'm trying to write a version for adults and a version for children, but actually she's had this great sort of explosion of, every now and again, they grow, and they grow intellectually and stuff like that. And she's using all this new vocab. And I've kind of realised I don't have to dumb it down. It's all going in anyway.
Exactly.
So I talk to Rudolph, and then she sometimes comes and joins in, and it's normally not what we're talking about anyway, but she's there and she's listening. So it's not necessary really to dumb anything down for children anymore, especially maybe at this learning point, maybe about 4 going into 5.
Yeah.
It's fascinating watching them change and gather more vocabulary, and in lots of ways. And in other ways it's like, oh God, she's going to gather more labels the more vocabulary she's got. But there you go, it's balance, isn't it?
Sure,
it's the two things. But ultimately any of this is about me doing it myself. I'm making sure that I talk to her all the time. Just communicating with her, and we've got a very, very close bond, you know, and she still sleeps with me, and you know, and she's so loving. She's gorgeous.
Oh, beautiful.
And she said to me,
that's a good reflection on you, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. I need to accept that, don't I?
Yeah, own it, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I feel very much in the learning seat with her, and there's a real sort of close togetherness feeling around that, and yeah, I think as long as you as the parent is willing to be open to all of this, then don't worry about how you pass it on to your child, because you just will.
Exactly.
You know, it'll just naturally, because you are them.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, Kate, there's so much wonderful information in your Substack articles. I mean,
Thank you.
I think we could probably do about a dozen interviews, because there's so much there, and I was sort of frantically highlighting and picking things up. But a couple of things I'd like to ask you. One of the things that really sort of resonates with me is this idea, and this is something that the Galactics have been talking about in the channel information that they've been sharing, that it's not about learning, it's about remembering.
Yeah. Get excited.
No, yeah, I'm really excited about that as well. But tell me about that from your perspective and in your experience.
Well, again, I'm going to refer back to my hypnotherapy teacher, and she told me this story about her daughter. She'd gone off to school and she hadn't taken her PE kit with her, and she came back, and the mum said, "What have you remembered?" And she said, "It's very important that you say that, not what have you forgotten, because, you know, every word is a spell."
That's beautiful, yeah.
And it's never gone away from me that I remember that so vividly. Like, oh yeah, that's genius. And I got it into my head that, you know, it's not about learning, because it's all there. You know, everything's there, everything's accessible at any point. It's just getting calm enough and still enough to remember it. So I would love to kind of, you know, the word learn, teach.
Yeah.
You know, just
which
sort of shaky
the law
ground.
of one says is the same thing anyway. So
Yeah, but remembering it just puts a totally different complexion on it. It's like, you imagine, like, you know, as a kid at school, and it's like, oh, you know, you just remember this. How empowering would that be, rather than you need to learn this. How about you remember it? It's softer, you know. Learn feels heavier to me. Remember, it feels like a blossoming feeling almost. So I try to. I don't always remember to say, what have you remembered, but that's what I do with her. I say, what have you remembered all the time, as opposed to what have you learned, or
that's beautiful. And interesting that because what the Galactics are saying is that new children coming onto the planet, and in fact some people are saying all children born since 2012 have this higher consciousness, you know, knowing, right? Notwithstanding the memory wipe that you know you talk about also in your Substack articles. And I'm wondering, were there any instances, have there been instances of Abby demonstrating, for example, a higher consciousness based on her past?
I don't think anything like that, but she has said to me, Mama, I'm so glad I chose you.
Wow,
so
that's great.
She has an innate awareness of choosing
her parents.
So before she was in her physical body. And are you talking like
no recollections of other existences?
Not that
before
she's given
incarnation.
Me, she hasn't given me any sort of solid thing that I could say. Oh, or she, you know.
one thing occurred to me, Kate. You know that the law of one says that certain children coming in, and this is back in the 80s, are already in fourth density.
Yes.
So, based on what you're saying, I just wonder whether Abby might fall into that category, because those children may not have a memory of past lives because they're actually incarnating from a higher density anyway. So in other words, they don't have a 3D history. Well, they would have a 3D history, but it would be potentially out of consciousness, or maybe the energy is cleared.
Yeah, that's what I understand that is going on now.
Yeah.
People being born directly in, because was it 2012 was the end of the 75,000 year thing, and Earth is moving into fourth density, but there were wanderers, weren't there, before? So
is Abby a wanderer?
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, don't know.
I shouldn't throw that at you. That's quite a big.
But before she was born, so she told me she was coming 3 months before I got pregnant.
Wow. Beautiful.
And I mean, I could tell you don't know whether that would be an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Go
with it.
It was the first spiral, the first solstice spiral, winter solstice spiral in the Universal Hall here in Findhorn. And I'd only been with Rudolph for 3 months at that point, and I was walking the spiral in this big room, a couple of hundred people, holding my little tea light ready to be lit in the middle, and I heard a voice say, "I'll be ready to be born. When you light this candle, I'll be ready to be born when you're ready for me."
Wow.
And I literally was like, you know.
So that was a voice in the head.
That was a voice as loud as my voice is now.
Wow, beautiful.
And I thought someone had said it behind me. It sort of went like this, and didn't tell. I went and lit my candle. I was like, oh my god. Flipping heck. I didn't tell anyone about that. Because I thought, they'd all think I was
tell
mad.
Rudolph?
Didn't tell. We'd only been together 3 months.
Oh,
Might have thought I was a bit crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Might have got a bit scared. I don't know. He wouldn't have done. In retrospect, he wouldn't have been scared at all.
Right.
But we talked about having children, and I went to the doctor and I said, we're thinking about it maybe next year. And the doctor was like, "You're too old. Sorry, love." And I'm like, do not subscribe to that way of thinking. And then 3 months later, I was pregnant. And the friend who introduced me to the law of one, and another friend also very, I don't know how to describe these people, but they are, to me, they are wanderers. They are just love incarnate. They're the most amazing people I've ever met. They both had a sense of Abby before I knew for certain that I was pregnant. And they said there is something different about this child. And I decided not to do any vaccinations with her, and this other friend said, "It's really good that you didn't do that. You don't want to impede anything that she is bringing." And when I went to hospital, because I thought something was wrong, she stopped moving, and then they said, "You have to have a C-section now," kind of thing. And we rang these friends, and they went into meditation, and they could, this friend could describe where I was and everything that was going on afterwards, so kind of like, I know he's not, he's kosher,
Right, yeah.
And they said, something really special. And I used to take Abby to Clooney when she was, a tiny baby, to see my friend who was still living there, and she would hold her and wander around, and she said, "We're doing some work." And she said Abby was like looking at these particular spots in Clooney where there were columns of light that you can't see with the 3D eyes.
Yeah.
And she said she's really aware. She said we're going to do a bit of work together. So they would go off, and she would do whatever the work was. I don't understand.
Wow.
But she said she's got it. She's a bit different, in a very
absolutely
special way. So
wow.
Those are the kind of inklings of But then I keep coming back to, you know, she's me as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going, oh, you're special, but I have to keep reminding myself that she is me and I am her. So I'm talking about myself still, and that is, I love that. It's just, it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So maybe she is a fourth density one, or she's living in fourth density now. I'm not sure, but she's definitely living in love. That's for sure.
Fabulous.
Definitely.
Now, the law of one says that there's no right or wrong, only exploration. So, no right or wrong with children, that sounds like a challenge.
God, don't. It's hard enough for me. So, I'll talk about how I get my head around it, and then it might help me to talk about Abby. So I'm trying not to label things good or bad anymore. I'm seeing everyone as a mirror. So if I'm perceiving it as bad, it's something that I need to look at. So I am doing integration work, which comes up in the law of one, and Aaron Abke kind of like decoded it for me a little bit as well. Yeah. So if something triggers me in someone, I know I need to integrate it in myself. So I go through a process of integration. And again, my aim is to just do what I'm doing all the time, so it becomes second nature, so it becomes easy to talk about it with her, to help her remember it. So the bad boys are very helpful with this.
Right.
So it's about saying there might be a reason why they're doing these things. And then, because I was bullied at school, and then in primary school, and then I found out that the girl who was bullying me, her parents were divorcing at the time. I left that school, we re-met up in high school, became really close friends, because I understood. And I dropped, I got so ill, I had an operation because the doctors thought I had something wrong with my ears, but it wasn't. I was just super, super stressed because this girl was bullying me. And then we come together in high school, we get sat next to each other in English, we do our drama GCSE together, we're like that,
Wow, right.
Because I understood why she did what she did. So that is how I will talk to Abby about good and bad, and try to understand why people do what they do. And that's my approach.
So does that mean you don't, and I know this is a conventional term, but I'll use it, you don't correct Abby if she does something that maybe more conventional parents, put it that way, would say, no, you can't do that, or stop?
No, I'm trying not to do. If it's like something that's going to endanger someone, of course, I'll sort of sweep in there and kind of like stop. If I have to physically stop her, it doesn't happen all that often. But kids are just a little bit absent-minded about, sort of maybe sometimes she's picked up something that could, she could throw at someone, and but I just try and talk to her about it. Just say, well, why would you? Why do you, and how do you think that person might feel? And do you like it? Because I did actually say this to her the other day. It was something about, again, the bad boys. God bless the bad boys. They're actually really helpful, aren't they? I said,
imagine the bigger picture on that as well.
Yeah.
Microcosm of the macrocosm, right?
Yeah.
So that we need to love the bad boys too.
Yeah, totally.
And they're not all boys, as you know.
Yeah, totally. And she'd, I think that she'd hit Rudolph or something like that, and I said, look, you don't like it when the bad boys do that to you, do you? Kind of thing. So and she clearly got it, because she changed her demeanor, everything in her demeanor changed. So it's your basic. Why why would you not treat someone the way you wanted to be treated?
Yes,
and that,
absolutely.
I mean, that's such, all the time, isn't it?
Profound, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my way in.
Wow, beautiful. I must ask you about two concepts that I hadn't heard before, actually, and that's not unusual. Unschooling and deschooling.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this is for those of you who may not have heard this, I'm sure that Kate will explain, but she also writes about these two concepts in her Substack articles, so I urge you to go and read them. But let's start with unschooling.
So unschooling is a concept, a label that's been given to, basically you don't put a child into school, you let them pick what they want to learn in their own time, at their own pace.
At home.
At home,
yeah.
In the UK, there is one school, as a boarding school called Summerhill, which does this. There's in the States, there's a lot of facilities, basically like an unschooling centre,
right,
where the kids can go. There's loads of equipment. There's there's guitars, there's whiteboards, there's computers, there's blocks, there's books, and children can go there, and they can just pick up and learn what they want. And there are facilitators, not teachers, facilitators. So if the child chooses to learn the guitar, there'll be someone on hand to either show them how to do it or point them in the direction of how they can learn how to do it.
Right.
And it's basically letting a child can't get away from that word.
Yes, I know.
It's letting them experience is a good
explore.
one. Yeah, it's letting them experience what they want in their own time.
Yeah.
And even like reading is not a mandatory thing. And there are lots of documented accounts of kids at 10-year-olds picking up War and Peace and reading that as like their first thing that they read. Right. And it's it's on the it's putting faith and trust into the child that they know what's good for them, or right for them, and it's allowing them to follow what they love rather than them being dictated to.
Sure.
Essentially, so that's
by
unschooling.
some curriculum that someone else has devised, etc., etc. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And deschooling, I found that fascinating because I could probably benefit from that
we
as
all
well.
Could.
That's more of an adult thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So the deschooling part of it is like me, I'm interested in it. If that is how we move forward, there is so much I need to deschool about myself, because I've got so many set ideas. We all have set ideas. There's no getting away from it, So I'm in the process of deschooling myself. So I have a strong kind of like, but everyone else is going to go to school kind of thing, so she must go to school thing. So it's about me learning about unschooling, learning to shed the beliefs and the labels that I have and that I put on other people. And just questioning it, and the law of one is like brilliant for that,
So it's not just about walking; it's about talking your truth. It's walking your truth as well. Yeah.
And I have this sort of high dream of setting up an unschooling facility, but that adults could be at too.
Wow, sign me up.
I've got a few million quid. I need some money. To do that, but a place where everyone is kind of like at a level playing field, and it would be a really loving place, because adults would be accepting that they don't know everything, and children will be learning that we already knew this, we're just remembering it. It could be such a harmonious, loving place, and it's great, like when you start like deschooling yourself, I just go, oh my God, I just feel so much freer and happier. And imagine if I'd have gone through unschooling instead of going to a regular state school like pretty much everyone else does. But Yeah, that's deschooling.
So, just a quick follow-up on that. Am I right in thinking, based on what you're saying, it's more than deprogramming or deconditioning and releasing old, beliefs that no longer serve us, the old paradigm, the old world, as I call it? It's more than that. It's coming together in love and harmony as well. Is that, have I understood it correctly?
That's me putting, from my sort of, understanding of deschooling is the unlearning of the stuff, and my conclusion of that is that it will be a more harmonious, loving place.
Beautiful. Now, you describe children as little gurus.
Yeah. There's another label.
It sounds like Abby is high up on the guru scale.
She is.
So apart from the mirror effect, and apart from, looking after yourself and self-love, what else has she taught you?
Well, there's nothing else to
Patience,
teach,
tolerance.
really. Oh my God. Yeah, flipping it.
How have you handled, because you talk about, being a mother, can be challenging, there are triggers, etc. from time to time, right?
24/7.
24/7, that good, eh? So, maybe you can give us an example of that, and how something that you've processed, or some other technique or other way that you use to break through that, apart from the who am I mean, there may be more. Or just seeing yourself in the mirror. Sorry,
the mirror effect is like a prime one.
Yeah,
it really is. Trying to think of it like a sort of tangible example, but seeing her as my mirror.
Well, let me ask you a different question. Sorry to interrupt you, Kate, but have you noticed an evolution in yourself whereby maybe, this is very conventional, so forgive me, right? But, in the early days, the triggers may have been, a certain way, and there may have been some challenges. But now that we're coming to 5 years old, I would assume that you've made quite considerable inroads into the acceptance and integration of those triggers, right?
Yeah, and I guess it's actually that the things will just keep on coming up. So she is relentless in presenting something that I haven't integrated.
Oh, yeah.
And that is, her guru status in my eyes. It's like she just there's no social filter on Abby at all.
Very good.
And she just keeps on going until I integrate something.
Oh.
And so from that point of view, that is, she's just that. She's relentlessly beating me with a stick, the metaphorical stick of, look at yourself, mama. And she doesn't stop, because she is my mirror.
Yeah.
So if I am not tending to something, then she is going to display behaviour to show me that I'm not tending to something.
Beautiful.
So it's the mirror. It really is the mirror.
Yeah. And I liked your big stick.
Oh God, yeah.
that was quite a big one, I imagine. Not just the stick, of course.
It was a horrendous day.
But you also talk about the choice to tighten or soften, which I thought was lovely, and to resist or trust. Yeah. Now, what I'm getting, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you've come to that place where there is far less resistance and much more trust. Is that right? So has there been a movement on the scales of trust, if you like? Yeah,
huge for me. Yeah. I can. I'm just lighter about everything now, and I'm more welcoming of the triggers.
Beautiful.
I have to say,
because
I know that it brings breakthrough and it brings change within me and without as well. And I've literally gone from sort of this time last year, I was a bit fed up of where we live, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, if an opportunity presented we'd be out of here,
Right.
kind of thing.
Okay.
To now, I'm like, this is one of the best places to be because it's so triggering.
Yes. Silver lining.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's always a blessing.
yeah, that's how I have changed. Certainly in the past year, since I've ramped up the integrations. Yeah, and like she brings it every day.
Right.
Every child brings it every day. You can't do anything. You can't leave the house without major discussions. You can't just pick up your bag and go out. You have to decide which coat you're going to wear.
Sounds wonderful.
And so yeah, patience is the biggest thing that I'm still
working on.
With
Right. Yeah. There's one concept or one label that we haven't talked about, which I'd love to hear your perspective on, and that's gratitude. You must be very grateful for, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but tell me about the gratitude aspect.
Yeah, oh God. I mean, I used to have a gratitude practice prior to moving up here, and I was like journaling every morning about gratitude and everything, and that was brought to me by another great friend back in Oxford where I used to live, and I did one of her courses, and she had gratitude as this is the number one thing that you do, kind of thing, and I kind of I do it all, just literally saying thank you all the time, and I love the idea of words being spells, and I will kind of I just imagine planting the word thank you just here or over there in that chair, and just feeling the gratitude. But that's my favourite thing to do. Sometimes lying in bed at night, I just plant the words thank you into the room, into the house. I'll say thank you to inanimate objects all the time.
That's lovely.
Because again, with the whole oneness thing, I am the couch as well. We are everything, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, and I've always had a practice of gratitude with every car I've owned as well. I've always said thank you to it.
That helps.
Always had tremendous luck with cars,
There you go. Makes sense.
Yeah. So just just laying the spell of thanks and gratitude everywhere I go is my practice.
Let's talk about love. The law of one, of course, emphasizes love. We've talked a bit about self-love. What about love in the collective, holistic sense? Any thoughts about that, and how that is, again, maybe looking at it as, your love for Abby, for Rudolph, your situation, looking at it from the macrocosmic perspective. Is that too big a question?
Well, it's just,
I know you can handle it, Kate. But I mean, how do you see? Let me put it a different way. How do you seem to be very sensitive to these things, very sensitive to the energy, and very perceptive. So how do you see that in the world itself? Because there are changes, aren't there?
Yeah. I mean, I see. A while back, I was thinking about love and light. It's kind of almost a throwaway comment now, isn't it? I was really thinking, what is love? What is it? And what is light? And why do people say, love and light? Didn't really get it. Spiritual thing that you do,
Yeah.
And I sort of came to the conclusion that light is information, because it is, isn't it? It's like particles of light or pockets of through reading about quantum physics.
Yeah.
So love must be manifestation. And that's what the conclusion that I came to. So I started to think, this couch is love, then. And this table is love. This camera is love. I am love because you are love. Everything is love. So it kind of took away the, everyone has the romantic notions of love, and the love for your child and the love for your friends. But love, actual love, I think is everything.
Yeah.
It's manifestation. It's not like romantic love or whatever. The microphone is love. So literally everything is love.
Yeah. Wow, that's lovely. Yeah,
I think that's
excuse the pun.
That's how I look at it.
Let me read something to you from the Law of One, which is about. I mean, there's so much in the Law of One about love, but there's one thing that, if I can find it here, that really sort of brought my attention. I thought, well, I must ask Kate about that, because again, it relates to, not just children, but adults and everyone that has a connection, you might say, and we are all connected. So if I can just find it here. Oh, here we are. And it's specifically about the incarnation, this incarnation in third density. So it says the purpose of incarnation in third density is to learn the ways of love, to experience all things desired, and to distill the love from within them. So, how do you distill the love from?
By, I guess, appreciating it. Yeah, and recognising it for, kind of the miracle that it is, and like all this stuff is only here because we are creating it.
Yes.
Right now. And that is, when you think about it, it's like, God, humans are really powerful. We're creating everything at every moment. And that kind of to me, that backs up my love is manifestation of everything that we are creating in order to have the experience of choosing the path of service to others or service to self on our journey home to oneness. So it's just, and I get this sort of visual in my mind of like the whole world kind of like just sort of going like that into like a tiny little diamond, and everything's in that, and that is love right there. It's all one thing, and but it's fun as well. It's so joyful. I remember like when I was living in Oxford, a friend came to stay, and we loved having these kinds of conversations. And I was saying, look, so we were walking in Blenheim Palace, and I said, okay, so we're looking at Blenheim Palace. There it is. It exists. Let's turn our backs on it. It doesn't exist anymore. Because we are not putting our attention on it.
We're giving it no energy.
We're giving it no energy.
Yeah.
We're not bestowing the power of manifestation on Blenheim Palace right now, so it doesn't exist. So we're having really, really good fun. Sort of going like this. This doesn't exist. Well, now it does, and just being really joyful in the power that runs through, that you're able to have in a 3D body. It's unreal. What you can do, what you can co-create together. And that makes me really excited, like, for what we can do, because I know there's a lot of bad stuff going on at the minute, but if we created that, we can create its opposite as well. We can create anything. It's like, you whenever you feel powerless, don't feel powerless, because you are the creator.
Absolutely.
You are it, and that is love. Creation is love. I think that I'm at the point where that's what my understanding is.
No, that's fabulous. Yeah. Because the manifestation of it itself is so. It's all powerful, isn't it? And I remember I had a wonderful coach, and she used to say to me, what would love do now? Any challenge, how would love respond to this?
We've got that in our kitchen. Mark Lane, a friend of ours, said that to me a few years ago.
Good.
What
Mark,
would love
right.
do?
Yeah.
And I thought, I like
Excellent.
that. So I wrote it down on a big piece, and it's in our kitchen.
Right.
What would love do? Yeah.
So let me finish up with another statement you made, which was great, which I think you said that parenting is a great opportunity for growth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
tell me about the growth.
yeah. Well,
you've referred to it to some extent already, but
it's a fast track.
Is there a sort of yes?
It's a fast track process, because if you choose, because you will be triggered all day long. I get triggered all day long, but I have chosen to integrate those triggers, and because of that, I am changing in ways that I never thought I would change. All to the good, I think, to put another label on it. But yeah, I think that, like, I wrote a thing about, it's the hardest spiritual practice, being a parent, because you are constantly challenged by these people, these little people.
The little gurus.
Yeah, the little gurus, yeah.
Even the gurus are challenging, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. You don't kind of, we don't really get, because we all fall into our comfort zones, won't we, in these bodies. But children don't let you stay in any comfort zone, hardly ever. And so you can either be overwhelmed and sunk by it, and and I can imagine it, I have really down days with it, or you can go, okay, right, so you're just going to keep on giving me that lesson, are you? I will endeavour to integrate everything that you give to me. So they just push you through. So I think, like, having a child is, like, on so many levels, the most amazing thing, and I am so happy that I got to do it in this body. I know I will have done it before, and if I didn't get a chance to do it, I will get a chance to do it again in the next reincarnation process. And it is amazing, and I know there are lots of people who don't get the chance to do it as well, but it's one thing I would like to sort of try and encourage in my community where we live, is that you don't have to have had a child to experience the growth, like, come and make friends with a family kind of thing. And I'd love for more of that to happen where everywhere, because you can be engaged in that thing that children give you, whether you have a child or not. You just got to make friends with families.
Beautiful.
Because they push you.
Yeah. And their children too, of course.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah. If you have an opportunity to be with a child, then
absolutely, fabulous. I did say that would be the final question, but I do have one other question, which I think is very important, and I'd love to hear you articulate it. How do you see the children of the future? How do you see Abby in, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years' time? It doesn't have to be Abby, but there is this suggestion that new children coming in are bringing in this higher consciousness, which would suggest that the new generation, if we can call them that, are going to, really help to transform this planet.
Yeah.
If not beyond. So, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. God knows what it looks like.
Because you've had a great sort of training ground for it, really, in a sense, haven't you?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no,
please.
I mean, they can definitely change the landscape of everything. There is no doubt, in the linear time sense, in the 3D realm. But equally, like, I think that a lot hinges on parenting in the linear 3D way. So they can change the world, but if we carry on treating them in the same way, they won't. It won't happen. They'll get pushed into, self-hatred, addiction, blah, 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 whatever. It can still happen. It can still go that way. And maybe that's the way it's meant to go. Maybe, who knows? But I think that a lot rides on parenting and schooling, and that's why I'm like such unschooling. I've explained my ideal scenario, but equally unschooling for me would be her going to school if that's what she chooses.
Yes.
But if at the foundation, I have modelled self-love so that she remembers to do that for herself and then to her children, and anyone that she comes into contact with, then even if the world continues the way it's going, people will be more loving and they'll deal with it in a different way, and that will transform the world.
Yes.
So it goes back to love yourself. You don't have to have a child to love yourself, but these children, it's undoubtedly, there's something different now. There's undoubtedly, fourth density the planet's in, and we're catching up, but time is something that we have created and imposed upon ourselves. Everything is happening all at the same time anyway. Love, it comes back to loving yourself completely. There's no other answer as far as I can see that encompasses everything. Loving everything, whether it is good or bad. So it'd be super exciting. I'm excited for the future of linear time because we only get to experience it here.
True.
We don't really get that. I think third and fourth density are like where we can experience it here, but fifth we're out of these bodies, and who knows what adventures that will entail.
Exactly.
But and we've got to remember these children are us as well. It's such a the balance is it's crazy, isn't it? But
it really is.
It's fun, it's interesting, but the bedrock is loving yourself and loving everything around you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right
now. Wow. Thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you.
Wow, that is so wonderful. Thank you very much for your wisdom and sharing your amazing
thanks, Abby,
experience.
for pushing me.
Yes, and thank Abby absolutely for being here and being very much part of this, even though she's not on the sofa. So no, truly grateful to you for a fabulous interview. And thank you all for watching. As I said earlier, I encourage you to read Kate's Substack articles. They are really fantastic, and I'll post a link to that at the end of the video. I very much hope that you've enjoyed today's interview, and maybe we may even see Kate back at some time if I can persuade her, because we've got so much more to talk about. Anyway, for the moment, thanks for watching, and join me next time for another podcast. Thanks again. Thanks again, Kate.
Thank you.